Meanwhile, on the Sunday shows on Fox, the topic was Benghazi. Trey Gowdy assured it wouldn't be a show trial. He talked a little bit about the language he's used in the last week, and it's interesting. They had a Democrat from California, Xavier Becerra, on. He said, well, if it's not a witch hunt, we'll probably take a part of it. But a number of Democrats in the past have said, we cannot believe that the Republicans are trying to raise money off of Benghazi. To the point, Mr. Gowdy said this yesterday to Chris Wallace.
They raised money on Sandyhook. They raised money on Katrina. They raised money on Iraq and Afghanistan. So for me, I will not raise money on Benghazi, just like I never raised money using crime victims when I was a prosecutor. And I've asked my colleagues to follow suit, but it would be helpful. It would be helpful if our colleagues on the other side of the aisle did not have selective amnesia when it comes to what's appropriate to raise money off of and what is not.
Selective amnesia. He's right.
By the way, that was a really intelligent conversation. Instead of people yelling at each other, talking at each other, they actually engaged each other. The criteria that the Democrats want is just unreasonable for them to participate. And I'm sure it's just put out there to be, hopefully they back off it. They want to be able to sign off on all subpoenas. So let's say the Republicans go, okay, I'd like to see Hillary Clinton. I don't think so. Democrats don't want to sign off on it. There's no way Trey Gowdy should give them that. All sign off on all witnesses. I think that's unbelievable, too. I think they say we should have access to call our own witnesses. I think that would be reasonable. But in terms of being able to question any witness, absolutely. Any Democrat should be able to question any witness. And for the GOP to not selectively release testimony, I think that's totally a reasonable demand. Absolutely, you should not say, okay, I like what that person said. Let's go show that to the press as opposed to the other person. Right. I think those two, the last two, I think they can deal with.
Trey Gowdy's a fair-minded individual saying this politics should really not be involved when it comes to getting to the truth. And he did ask them to remember the glass house you live in when throwing the stone when it comes to raising funds off of tragedy. Look at this, July 2006, Democrats posted a video to their website featuring the coffins of American soldiers coming home from Iraq war, then asking for a button to be pressed. And then in 2012, Steve, you remember this, and Brian too, right after the Sandyhook shooting devastating, David Axelrod urging supporters to click on a link. You saw then President Obama's address, and then that player then linked again with donate buttons above the video asking for $15 to $1,000 for a campaign.
Then about a year ago, in April of 2013, after the Boston Marathon bombings, the DNC put the image of the B, Strong, the B from the Boston Red Sox, on its website, asked for political information that they could use politically as well. And what's interesting is just this past Thursday, the Democrats actually posted a statement blasting the Republicans' fundraising off of Benghazi. But on the Democrats' website, it had a place where you could contribute. So while they say we can't believe that the Republicans are doing that, the Democrats have done it many, many times in the past. And Trey Gowdy has made it very clear he will not do it.
And I just thought he put it very well yesterday when he just said flat out, I've never had a chance to question the Secretary of State, never had a chance to question Susan Rice. We've never had everybody, because everyone's got their own fiefdoms, that we're all in our own lane. The Oversight Committee, the Special Investigator. Now it's all going to be one, all together, all the paperwork in one pile. And he said, I wish we did this a year ago.
Sure.
We could have saved everybody a lot of time.
Well, and put it this way, if God forbid, heaven forbid, your family was one of those who lost one of the 4 individuals that died in Benghazi, who would you want getting answers?
Sure.
Is it Trey Gowdy, who really just wants the information and let the decision be what it is, just get to the truth, or is it someone who's covering it up?
Right. And just one final note, and that is Eleanor Clift over the weekend on the McLaughlin Group said that Ambassador Stevens died of smoke inhalation. Pat Buchanan, luckily, was right there and said he died of a terrorist attack. Come on, Eleanor. Anyway.